Hello everyone, I'm Christopher, and in this video we are going to learn how to add and remove to-do items. So currently, as we can see, our to-do application does nothing when we try entering a new to-do item. I just entered to-do 4, hit enter, and nothing happened at all to the piece of data I supplied to the application. So let's head over to our code editor and see if we can make this happen. Now the first thing we are going to do is we are going to add a new property to our Vue instance called methods. So let's have methods, and this is going to be an object which will contain all the functions for our application. So the function that is going to be responsible for adding the to-do items is going to be called add to-do, and in between this opening and closing curly brackets is where we are going to have the code responsible for adding our to-do items. So we are going to use a Vue keyword called this, and this particular keyword allows us to have access to this data property and everything inside it, and that is because we want to have access to our to-dos array. So let's have this dot to-dos dot, we are going to now use an array function called push, and we are basically going to supply an object which is going to represent the to-do item. So let's copy to-do 3, and then we are going to paste it inside here, save all this. Then we are going to take out to-dos 1 up to 3 and then clean our code. So let's clean it, save all this. Let's head over to our application and see the changes we've made so far. So as we can see, still if we enter to-dos 1 and hit enter, nothing happens. And why is that? So the reason is because we have created a function for adding to-do items, but we don't have a way of calling the function yet. So let's go to our index.html file, and we are going to add an event listener to our input field. So let's go back to the app so I could show you what I'm talking about. So this is where normally the to-do text is going to be entered. We are going to add an event listener to this input field, and that event listener is going to be a key app event. So a key app event is basically a user pressing on any of the keys on the keyboard and lifting the finger. At the point where the finger is being lifted, that is where the key app event is fired, and we are going to be targeting the enter key. So let's go back to code. We are going to use a Vue directive called v-on, and the event we are going to target here is going to be key app, and the specific key we are going to be interested in is going to be the enter key. So let's have an equal to sign and pass the name of the function add to do. Save all this, go back to our application, and now when I press on the enter key and lift my finger off, we can see that now the function has been called and the to-do item has been added to our to-dos array. Let's try that again. We press enter, remove our finger, and another to-do item has been added. Once more, press enter, lift, and the third to-do item has been added. But as we can see, all the time the same data is added, and that is because currently we don't have a way of getting the data from the input field. So let's change that. Let's go to our app.js file, and we are going to add a new data property here called new to do, and we are going to assign it an empty string for now. Save all this. Then over here we are going to take out this fixed text, and then we are going to rather refer to this data property that we have created. So let's have this dot new to do, save, and when we go back to our input field and even enter to do 1, still it's not going to work, and that is because currently our data property is an empty string. But what we want to do is we want to tie this particular data property to this input field here, and we are going to do that with another Vue directive called v-model, and we are going to pass it the name of the data property, and the name we gave to it was new to do. So let's save all this, go back to our application. Now let's try entering to do 1, enter. You can see we have to do 1. Let's try changing this 1 to 2, enter. Let's have to do 3, enter. So we can see that our function is working perfectly, except that anytime we add a new to-do item, the input field is not cleared. So let's go and fix that also. Let's go to our app.js file and let's come down here so that anytime a new to-do item is added, we are basically going to set our new to-do data property to an empty string again. So let's have this dot new to do equal to empty string. Let's end our statement, save all this, go back to our application, reload, and now we are going to try by entering a new to do item. So to do 1, and you can see that the input field has been cleared after the new to do item was added. Let's try to do 2, enter, and you can see it has been cleared again. Now finally we are now going to work on how to remove to do items. Currently, as we can see, we click on the delete button, the item doesn't go away, still stays. So let's go to code. We are going to add another function called remove to do, and we are always going to pass the individual to do that we want to remove. And also we are going to use another array function called splice instead of the push. So let's say this, so we can have access to our to-dos array dot to-dos dot splice. Now this splice function takes 2 arguments. The first one is the index of the to-do item we want to remove, and the second item simply represents the number of to-do items to remove from the array. So over here, to get the index of the specific to-do item we want to remove, we are again going to access our array with the this keyword. So this dot to-dos dot index of, and we are going to pass the specific to-do item we are interested in. Then we are going to also say it should remove only 1 item. Let's save all this and end this with a semicolon. Go back to our application and try entering to do 1, enter. And when we click on this button, nothing happens. That is because we have created a function for removing our to-do items, but we have not created an event. We don't have a way of calling this function as we saw earlier on. So let's go back to our index.html and go to the delete button, which is over here. We are going to add another event listener, and this time around we are going to target the click event. So let's have v-on click equal to, then we are going to pass in the remove to do function. So remove to do, save. Let's go back to the app and let's go back to code because we forgot to pass the individual to do. So let's open and close, and all the time we are going to pass the individual to do we want to remove. So let's save all this, go back to the code. Let's try entering to do 1, enter. Let's also try entering to do 2, enter. Then finally let's have to do 3, enter. So now when I click on the button next to do 3, you can see that to do 3 is gone. Let's try with to do 1. To do 1 is gone, and finally we have to do 2 also gone. So guys, that is going to be all for this video, and if you have any comments about this video, you can leave them in the comment section below. I also want to say that if you like these kinds of videos, do click on the subscribe button because it helps me create more of these type of videos. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.